here. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for Breath of Nibiru on me and Gianluca's writing process. This tutorial is going to span through the entire album cycle for the 2014 album release, and we're going to be walking you step by step through every song up until the final edits for that song, or for all the songs I should say. So what I'm going to be doing is going through and showing you how I write riffs as a drummer based on the riffs that Gianluca writes. I go into my program Reaper and I cut and paste everything that he sends me. He sends me all the individual stems of bass, guitar, synths, and his solos. And I cut up everything and do whatever I want with it, and then that's pretty much how the writing process goes. Me and him exchange ideas that way, and then by the end of the songwriting process, we've got all these different chops and cut and paste of everything we did, and then that's how we get our finalized product. So yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing this for the entire 2014 album cycle. We're going to go through every song up into the very last edits before we hit the studio, showing you how this is done. So let's get started. So what I'm going to be doing in Reaper here is going through what he sends me first. So for example, in the very beginning of my project here, the working title of this song is called Nebular. And so this is essentially what Gianluca had sent me first. There's going to be a video of what he had did for Jam Track. This was originally pretty much a jam tune that he put solos over, and then we're turning it into a Breath of Nibiru song. So yeah, this video is going to start off with Gianluca going through this song. Up after Gianluca sends me all of this stuff, you can see here that I've got everything labeled on this side. So I've got his solo, his guitars. He's got like ambient, guitars here and then, guitar left and right, and then bass. And then up above, I've got my drums here. So anyways, this section right here is drumless. It's just all the stuff that I'm listening to come up with drum parts. I listen to this first. It sounds like this, and then based on this stuff, then I go into writing my drum parts. So that would be the first riff. There was like a little bit of a synth intro and then the first riff. And then after that, after hearing what he had sent me, I go into Superior Drummer, into my MIDI editor. And let's just real quick. And then I program all of my stuff click for click. The advantage to writing this stuff click to click for me, and when I say click for click, I'm actually going into the editor and clicking this stuff in. So the advantage to this is that I can go in and think of the drum part that I want, then I can write it, and then I can go back through and edit it if it doesn't sound right. It really is a very it's a much easier way and easier process to do this than sitting in a jam shed all day long and, you know, banging out on your drums for 4 to 8 hours a day or whatever, and then at the end of the day you've got to remember all those parts, and you know, it just gets very time consuming and very difficult and very relentless, and this really eliminates all of that time spent. I can go back through here in real time, and you know, I can listen back to everything that I've done, everything that I've programmed, and that's going to be the final product. So anyways, after this riff here, I go in and program all my stuff. So it's going to sound like this. So that was the first riff with my drums on it. You saw it with Gianluca's way, and then now here's my way. And then after that, I did a transition between after that riff, after the intro riff, and then before this, the next one coming up. So I'm not going to show you every little bit of what I did exactly, but you know, there's different things you can compare when you listen to both tracks side to side, and you can see exactly what I've done. So I did some edits in here, and then went through and programmed all of my drums, and then when it got to the end, you know, he only had a few riffs in this song so far, so I went through and I started making my own riffs. So by that I mean I actually go in here, I find parts that I can cut out and copy and paste and make new stuff. So for example, there was, like, per se, this riff right here. Okay, so that was a riff that Gianluca had wrote, and then later on in the song I had taken bits and pieces of that, and so what I do, it's like, this is all to a grid. I go in here and I split up, you know, like this or whatever, and like this, and then I just rearrange these however I like. You know, I'm going to go up here, and then I want to put this one here, and then I want to do it. You get the point. Like, I just go through and chop it all up and then rearrange all of that stuff. So what I came up with towards the end here is something like this riff here. Okay, so you can kind of hear that it's really like stuttery, and I wanted it that way, but obviously it's not recorded that way. So Gianluca's going to go back through and re-record all of this. Another thing I did is I pitch shifted the synths. If I solo this here, you can kind of hear what's going on. Right, so you can hear it's changing. If you listen for that synth previously in the song, you can tell it's not pitch shifted like that. It's just straight, that straight pattern. So that's another thing that I do, is just go through and change that. So when Gianluca goes in, he's like, oh, I see what you wanted to do there, let me try this, and then he goes in and works his sorcery, and it's all fantastic. So yeah, so that's pretty much how that works. What I usually do when it comes to chopping up his stuff and then writing new riffs is that I will do that first, and then I'll go up and go up here into my MIDI editor and program drums to it. So I would have chopped everything up first, and then I would have gone down here and done that thing. So hopefully that makes sense. On to where his solo is now. He's got this whole solo section right here, this guy. That's all of his solo. So I've got it all chopped up. You can see all the splits in it and everything. So then I take sections of that, and it can be tiny sections, like down to the 16th note. So I can actually create my own scales and patterns and all sorts of stuff, and kind of use that to make my own solos, and then send that to him so he has an idea as to what I'm going for. So for example, let's try and see if I can find it. There's a lot of cuts in here, but there's one specific part that I just took maybe like 4 bars out of, and then extended it and then put it over that last breakdown. It's somewhere in this solo, but I'm not going to look for it. Anyways, it turned out like this. So that last stutter part that I made, I then put a solo over it on the next version, the solo version. So it sounds like this. So you can see, if you listen back, you can find that part of the solo, and then you can see that I copy and pasted it and put it in here. Same thing goes for this other ending part that I have on this tune. I also cut and pasted another solo and made another riff, and it sounds like this. That's pretty much the process from start to finish. One, start off listening to his track, start brainstorming ideas, then go in, program all the drums to what he already has, then after that, go in and start tweaking everything, and then create riffs and all that stuff, and make new drum parts to those new riffs, and then go through and add his solos and try and add some more textures and layers, maybe change around some synths, that kind of stuff, and just put some, like, maybe, I don't want to say final touches, but some finishing touches on what we already have. So that's essentially the process. At the end of this video, you're going to see what I'm actually playing drum-wise to all these program parts. I play exactly what I have on here. So yeah, make sure you sit this through to the end and see what the final product is of this episode 1. Alright, thanks for watching, you guys, and enjoy.